there's been reports of the power supposed to go out, so that might be part of it. I don't know.
Okay, so okay,
There it is. I got a notification.
you did. Okay, good.
Yep.
Okay, good. I don't know. I don't know if you want to send a There's I see somebody.
Yep. Okay. Better. Not choppy. Awesome. That's what happens when you got that sunny internet, man.
Says, does it look better?
Yep. I think so. It doesn't seem like I'm choppy. Awesome. All right. Sweet. So did you post it on Twitter already?
No. Can
Okay.
Can you post it? Yeah.
Yeah. Let me post it.
Okay, so this is good. That is better. So that's all. I mean, this is part of it, guys. Again, neither me or Nu will have a studio. I mean, I have a wall. I have a mic, and that's
All right.
that's
I
about
tweeted
it.
it out.
So things like
We
this
need
happen.
producers, man. That's what it is. We need to hire some producers. For sure. But yes. Oh, let me get in the chat so I can see all the crap you guys are talking about how I shaved.
And the other chat, they were saying that was the problem.
Yeah,
The
I mean,
shaving.
I'm believing it. McDonald's Wi-Fi, yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. Sounds
Who said
about
that?
right.
Oh, Baltimore boy. Anyway, guys, thank you for joining here. And again, sorry for the change of plans. Me and Nubo, obviously, we were trying to do it on the other side, but things happen and we had to adjust. And at least we were able to adjust. We tried a couple different things, but at least we had the backup plan.
At least we're able to get the podcast out to you guys. So, okay, so just before we get started on this, okay, I'm sure you guys have noticed by now. Yes, I did shave.
Look at
okay,
look at Brandon's.
You're not wrong. It's true. It does feel like that as well. I just felt like, I don't know, it was time for a change, you know? I'm trying things out. Maybe I'll let it grow a little bit. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll keep shaving and, you know, you guys will eventually get used to it. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Just trying things out, you know what I mean? It's not the first time I've done this. I think I've done it before on the channel, but that was before, you know, I didn't have that many views as I do now. So, but yes, this is my new face. Also, guys, before we get into the podcast, I also have to announce that I am going to Baltimore this weekend, this Saturday. I'm getting there at 11 o'clock p.m., and I'm not leaving till Monday at about 4 p.m. Well, I have to be at the airport at 4 p.m., so in reality, maybe like 12 or 1. But, so yeah, I'm finally, for the first time in my life, I'm getting to watch the Ravens live in Baltimore. Super excited, man. Super stoked. Shout out to my buddy Garrison Funk, who he was the one that hooked me up with a ticket on Twitter. Garrison Funk. I don't know if he watches the podcasts, but yeah, he's hooking me up with the ticket. And when he told me, I'm like, let me see how much an airplane ticket would be. And I saw, and I'm like, I mean, it's a little pricey, but I guess I can afford it. And I'm like, you know what? Screw it. When is this opportunity going to come up again? And, you know, we're making it happen, man. I'm super excited, man. I really can't wait.
So for Luke Puckett, I was telling Nuvo, so Nuvo told me this today, right? And I live in Maryland, but I was telling Nuvo, of all the weekends, this weekend I'm actually going to New York, to Don Dimelo's side of the yeah. So Don Dimelo is from New York. I promised my daughters that I was gonna go to New York and take them to see the Statue of Liberty and all that. So I'm not gonna be able to go to the game. So what me and Lou were talking, maybe for Sunday night for the game, you know, meet up in a bar or something and watch the game, and we might tell you guys where we are in case some of you guys wanna, you know, swing by and do some things. So who knows? We might stream from there. We might just say, you know what? Let's open the cell phone. Not the best quality.
Live NFPodcast.
Yeah, live NFPodcast, like reacting to the game as we're watching it. So,
yeah.
But yeah, New was gonna be there. Unfortunately, I can't. I already have previous plans. So, but you guys should two things: hook up my boy with a good tailgate, and you guys know a couple of you have tailgates. So hook up him with a tailgate. Just send him a DM to Twitter, saying where you are, and he's gonna look for a place to eat good food. One of those good Baltimore barbecue.
Good food, man, and unfortunately I can't drink because I am doing sober October, so
That's right.
but I might make an exception. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see how I feel. I mean, I feel like I kind of have to make an exception for that day, right? So,
You might.
yeah. We'll see, though. But yeah, I'm super excited, guys. But anyway, why don't we go ahead and get started on the NF podcast, guys? My name is Joe Nubo.
Sunny from SCG Sports.
This is the NF podcast, and we are both Ravens fans, but this time it's on Sunny's channel because, of course, my internet just totally took a shit, and we just couldn't make it happen, So we're doing it here on Sunny's channel, but it's all good, man. We got the backups. I didn't want to leave you guys without a podcast for sure. So, but yeah. So basically, today we're talking, of course, about the upcoming Cincinnati Bengals versus Baltimore Ravens game, but we also want to kind of talk a little bit about last week because Sonny and I haven't talked about the game. We've both, made our own separate videos talking about our thoughts on it, but this is the first time that we're both going to talk to each other about how we feel. So, basically, it was an ugly game. Just all around, right?
It was.
Just all around. I mean, the officiating was horrible for both sides.
It's bad.
I mean, we had some shit calls. The Steelers, I think they didn't have as many shit calls, but they did have quite a few. It was just all around bad, man. It was all around bad. The officiating is horrible. I mean, I think the NFL really does have to look into that because, gosh, the thing that frustrated me the most was that Devin Bush interception, quotation.
Mm-hmm.
That, when I saw that, I'm like, oh, that's getting overturned for sure. Like, as soon as I saw that, and then next thing I know, oh, here comes Mason Rudolph and the Steelers on the field. I'm like, what? What's going on?
That was a broke the TV moment.
Yeah, I'm so happy that I was at the bar and not at home that time, but man, yeah, that was such BS, bro. Like, seriously, I think even if you're the most Homer Steelers fan in the world, you have to admit that was not an interception, bro. Like, it clearly hit the ground, and unless something's changed with the catch rule, as far as I know, it hasn't.
No.
So that should not have been ruled an interception. Sonny, how did you think?
I know you were seeing in the bar, right? So I know the audio is out, right?
Right.
So Mr. Blandino said it too. Before they made the call, Blandino said this is an incompletion that he did. And I saw it. So if you see him, he made a hell of a play. This is what I said the other day in my live stream. He made a hell of a play, hell of an attempt.
Mm-hmm.
But it's hard for him to put the hands underneath. So he was trying to squeeze it, right? And as he's trying to squeeze it, the ball touches the ground and pushes it up a little bit. And then he squeezes it tight and rolls in it. For me, that's an incompletion. The ball can only touch the ground if you have clear possession, which he didn't at all. So that play was bad. And the completion fumble, for me, that was an incompletion. It looked like the guy pinned it and tried to pin it and move it to his body. So as he's pinning and moving it, he doesn't have possession. The guy, I think it was Canada, they really didn't punch that ball out. He just tackled him hard and he lost the ball. Yeah. I thought that was incompletion. So that was a third down stop that they got an extra possession out of it. And the first pick from Lamar, that was, if you didn't want to call that pass interference, which for me was, at worst, that's illegal contact. Again, 5 yards, first down, we should still have the ball.
Sure.
So now, those were 3 points there because it was in the 20-something yard, in the 30.
Yeah.
So those are 3 big, plus there's others, right?
Oh, yeah.
But those right there are huge, and they're completely changed how the momentum goes.
Yep.
So the officiating was just horrible. It was.
And I mean, not only for us, I think that roughing the passer call was a little bit ticky-tacky, I think.
It was.
Yeah, for sure. So, it was for the Steelers too. I'm saying it wasn't only for us that we were getting bad calls. I mean, I think we did get a lot more, but the Steelers did also get some questionable calls, man. And the refs were just, oh God, it was terrible, man. It was horrible. It really was. I mean, I think we both had 11 penalties, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, 11
Jeez.
accepted penalties each.
Yeah, that is ridiculous, man.
Now, I would like to talk to you as we are in the penalty game or talking about the refs in the penalty, the Earl Thomas hit.
Mm.
Because I had to defend this hit. I have been defending this hit, and the reason why is because I talk even to coworkers saying like this rule needs to change. They need to be protecting the quarterbacks more. I'm like, dude, just put a flag in it. But I was telling them like, yo, if you think about it, if after that hit, if Mason Rudolph just stands up right away, right, and prayers to him for, I don't know where his status is right now, but we all want him to be okay. But if he pops up and he literally after the hit goes up again and goes to the next play, there's no flag being thrown. And it's an NFL network as, oh my God, look at this hell of a hit, great hit. Right. But the outcome, because the guy, again, I'm not saying that it's good that the guy's unconscious, because what happened, he got concussed. People are talking that the hit was dirty, that all this other stuff's like, no. Do put forearm to the numbers. Brandon Carr's hitting him back. So Brandon Carr hits him first through the back. So that moves him. Earl Thomas, I love how he was coming. That's what I want. He was coming like a bullet there. He puts forearm there first. So the momentum now from Rudolph carries him down, right? So his head is coming down. So as you're putting the forearm, your head is coming next. Head is a little bit low, but as his head goes down a little bit, the helmet of Errol hits the chin of Rudolph and he gets knocks
him out. Yep.
So I don't think it was dirty, and I think it's legal, and I had no problem with that hit.
Yeah, a lot of people were saying, "Oh, he should be suspended. He should have been ejected." I definitely don't agree. Like you said, I think it was just one of those bang bang plays, man. Like it happened to happen that way. Like you said, Brandon Carr was pushing him forward, and Earl was coming with his arms extended, and he just had. Let's not forget, Earl Thomas is like 5'10", and Mason Rudolph is like 6'5". I mean, it was just one of those situations that you can't really stop. I mean, Earl. It's not like he intentionally put his helmet forward and was trying to injure the guy. But man, what a nasty! I thought he was dead, dude. I swear to God, as soon as. He was lifeless, dude. He was not moving at all, bro. That was scary.
I'm not laughing at the situation. I'm more. No. Also, let me add to they made 3 rushers miss. Yeah. And again, at that point, if you're in a defender, he made 3 of my guys miss. I'm not taking any chance. So that's for me to go to the hit for me was completely legal. Now. The refs did throw a flag after they saw this guy laying there for like 20 seconds. It wasn't like they threw a flag immediately. Yeah. Okay? Now, Rudolph. Yes, it was scary. Me and my wife were watching. My wife started crying, thinks that this guy, something happened to him. For me, it looked like when a boxer knocks him out. What did scare me for a moment was his feet open. Yeah. And his throwing hand, like, stay like where his fingers are up, right? And the other ones were. And I was like, is this dude paralyzed? Like that part was scary.
That was scary, man.
So, man, you know what? Again, I'm just happy that the kid is okay. I was more upset that people were thinking this was a bad hit or legal hit. For me, I want Errol to keep doing that. Not necessarily because, again, getting the guy unconscious, that's just an effect of that hit for that particular individual in that particular moment. But yeah, I didn't think it was nasty or intentional. So
I don't think so. Yeah, it was like I said. I think it was just one of those bang bang plays, man. And I mean, nothing you can really do about it. Kind of like that Joe Flacco. Well, that really wasn't that Joe Flacco concussion from Kiko Alonso. That was a little more intentional.
Exactly. Flacco was sliding. Kiko hit him in the head. That for me is a intentional hit, somebody looking to hurt. Now what like Don D. Miller was saying, people should be getting upset with the Steelers. How are you gonna let this man that was unconscious now walk?
Right. Yeah, that's true.
What is this car? Hey, we have enough big people in that game. How
Yeah.
about put him in the car and pushing the car out while you figure
True.
out why is this car not working?
True.
That for me was a worst look for the NFL.
True. Yeah, that was insane that the cart just wasn't working, man. What kind of crap is that? You just can't have that. But anyway, man, getting back to the game, it was frustrating in a lot of parts. Of course, the refereeing was the officiating was just totally, that really frustrated me for sure. But also some of the play from the Ravens, because we came out and we started off pretty hot. We scored 17 and I'm like, okay, looking good, Defense was stopping them. Offense was actually scoring points. So I'm like, okay, we're doing pretty well. And then after that, we scored 9 points after that, the whole game. I think we scored all 17 in the first quarter, if I'm not mistaken. So, and then we had the lead at halftime. I believe it was 17-13. And then the Steelers ended up coming back. They got up 20-17. We tied it up with the field goal. And then, a couple more field goals later. And then, of course, in OT, that amazing play from Marlon Humphrey to knock the ball out, which, and then Lamar just got us enough yards to get into field goal range for Justin Tucker. That was the game there. But what frustrated me is that we were not getting pressure at all. And that was something we talked about last week. It was so frustrating that we were sending blitzes and either Mason Rudolph or Delvin Hodges was just sitting in the pocket like it was just a 3 or 4 man rush. Yep. Like, seriously, they had so much time even on a blitz. That should not happen. We were lucky to get that 1 sack from McPhee. Thank you, McPhee, for doing something, man. But geez, like, this pass rush is really bad. If we come in against the Bengals, who have a horrible offensive line, and we're not able to get pressure on Andy Dalton, I'm gonna be so pissed off, man. I'm gonna be done with this defense. I don't know, but it was just so frustrating to watch, man. We were sending blitzes and it wasn't getting home, and we couldn't get pressure, and we were allowing Delvin Hodges, who is an undrafted rookie, to dot us up, man. I mean, he didn't do too much, but he did enough, that to have us on the ropes a little bit. So that was just frustrating for me.
I think Hodges looked better than Rudolph, to be honest. But going back, this is what I was telling you a couple weeks ago, that I thought that our pass rusher was the biggest need. I think you said that for you was the secondary.
That's what I thought, yeah.
I think the secondary has done a good enough job, but without any pass rush.
They've been playing better, yeah.
It's just hard without any pass rushers, and our pass rush is pretty shitty right now.
It is.
If you think about it, Judon is the only one half decent right now. I know Perel McPhee has his moments, and we know Mr. Magnet Ferguson is trying.
Yeah.
And Bowser is playing with Mario, I guess. I don't know. But, I mean, it's just bad. So for me in the trading deadline, that's what we need to do. We need to look for a pass rusher. That's for me number one, and then the left guard. Because the pressure for Lamar was coming to the left guard position. There was no question to it, and Hayward was pushing that pocket through the middle. Stanley, for me, had a very strong game. He allowed that 1 sack, but it was that one Lamar took, he was sitting in the pocket for a while. So, and he was moving up and down in the pocket, and then, Stanley's not watching Lamar, and eventually he got out of position, and then the pre-push him. Now, Seuss struggled a little bit, but I assume Seuss was going to struggle with TJ because of speed. Because of speed. And I feel like the Ravens didn't help him putting a tight end there to chip the guy inside, because if he gets chipped inside, then, Seuss can just swallow him. So, but there's not many guys like TJ that is just a speedy guy. I love TJ Watt, by the way. But I thought the O-line was okay on the ends, and it goes back to that left guard. So, in my opinion, we had 2 big holes: that left guard position, interior lineman, and pass rush. Pass rush is just bad.
I could say so. I think the O-line as a whole didn't. I mean, they didn't play horrible, but they didn't play good either. I think even Yanda was struggling. So that says a lot about how much that Steelers pass rush is very serious. So I mean, for the most part, I think Lamar's pocket presence has also been pretty bad, especially this last game, because it seems like he's been going into the sack a lot. So, um, and I know people don't like to hear criticism of Lamar, but I believe that he does need to be criticized for his performance last week because it was probably his worst game for this year for sure. Um, it just wasn't good. And it's not to say that I don't have faith in him. I know he can get better and everything, but I think also Lamar just needs to play his game, man. That's the most frustrating thing, is that it feels like he wants to pass, and I get it. He wants to pass, but you need to run when the situation is right. And also, I've kind of had a little bit of problems with with Greg Roman, a little bit of the play calling, and it's not that I know that it's his first year being the offensive coordinator, so it takes a while to really get it going, but it seems like for some reason all we try to do is either run the ball or we throw deep. That's it. Like, that's the only two things we do. It's like we need to incorporate some screens. We need to incorporate some short passes to get the pressure off Lamar. Start having the defense come up a little bit once we're, tearing them up with screens and short passes, and then that's when you take the deep shots. Once everybody's loading the box. I just feel like there's not enough of that going on in our offense right now, and I think that's why we've been struggling.
Yeah, so before I go, I see a lot of people asking me for call-ins. I don't think we're going to do call-ins, guys. The only, I know I didn't change the title. We were just trying to push the NF podcast very quickly.
Yeah.
So
we'll have to change that after.
Yeah, I need to change it afterwards, but I was just want to make sure we didn't delay the NF podcast anymore. Okay,
right.
That being said, the play call has been suspect. In my opinion, they haven't run the ball as much. For example, perfect example. I think they want to, and I think we talked about this the other day a little bit. They want to make sure people know Lamar can throw. And at this point, I think if you don't think Lamar can throw, you're an idiot. Okay. But, look, Jimmy G, which for me is an average quarterback, but nobody has ever said that Jimmy G cannot throw, right?
Yeah.
But what did the Niners did against the Clowns? They said, we're just going to run all over you. Because the Clowns were vulnerable on the running game. And what they did, they ran the ball all over them. They ran. And that got them the lead in the first half, and they didn't look back.
Right.
And that's what we should have done against the Browns. That's what we need to do against any team that struggles against the run. You just run there like last year almost. Because you know what's going to happen? Everybody's going to collapse to the pocket. And now you can throw a little bit easier. I'm not saying this because Lamar's throwing bad. I thought he had a bad game, but also he took the short end on a lot of those bad calls that we're talking about. 2 of the 3 picks for me that should not happen. The one pick was a horrible throw. The guy was in the shallow, so he peel off. It was just a bad throw.
Yeah, that was bad. Yeah.
And talk about Giro and the play calling. 145, and we run for 9, run for 3, and I'm like, my dude, what are you doing? We're in a 2-minute offense. You need to come in and throw. So then we get sacked. And at that point, I think with a minute left. And at that point, I'm like, okay, we're just going to just burn the clock. Then we go throw that like an out route.
Yeah.
You should have done that earlier. But why are you doing it now? At this point, you just effed it up. Just go to the halftime with at least 17-10. And we had the ball back. So he tries to do that. Lamar has a bad read. He throws the pick, and we give up 3 more points.
Right.
He needs to reevaluate how he's play calling. I think he's trying to be balanced, which is good. We're fairly balanced. But I don't need you to be balanced. I need you to be smart. I need you.
Exactly.
If Lamar, look, if the other team is weak against the run, and Lamar throws for 5 yards, and he runs for 80, and Mark Ingram runs for 120, and Gus runs for another 100, and then you get Hill running for 80 more yards. I don't care if Lamar throws for 5 yards, and no receiver is part of it. I don't care. If we blow them out on the run, great. I don't care about anything else. That dub. And if Humphreys doesn't get that fumble, I don't even know if we win that game. Cause
I agree.
So, it was frustrating. I think Tomlin saw that. It was one of the reasons he didn't take the ball. I think he understood that they were generating pressure through the inside. Again,
their defense was dominating us, man.
Yeah. We talk about Lamar, but when you get pressure to the middle, people talk about getting pressure to the outside is bad. The middle portion is worst because at that point you're seeing it. Like if you getting pressure to the outside and you don't feel it, you might be able to throw and the guy was barely there and didn't affect your throw.
Yeah.
In the middle, you're seeing this guy coming to you. It's just harder. So we need to clean that up because we're going to another team that can generate pressure to the middle. So that's what I saw.
No, I mean you're right. Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say. It's like, who cares about a balanced offense, man? At this point, who cares? If we run the ball 30, 40 times, if it wins the game, who cares, man? Let people call Lamar a running back. I don't care. Nobody cares. If we're winning, if that's what's working, then shoot. Who cares? Now, if people start to play the run, that's when Lamar, okay, let's start taking some shots. Let's start doing some intermediate throws, some short throws, some deep passes to Hollywood if it's open. Like, that's when you take the shots. But it just feels like there's this need from, I think, I don't know if it's a Harbaugh call or if it's Greg Roman. There's this need to be a balanced offense, which I'm not. It just doesn't make sense. We are a run-first team, and we should play like a run-first team. And it just doesn't seem like it's been like that. So, but yeah, like you said, it was really close, man, up until the end there. And I mean, I don't know if you saw this, but there was a Tomlin quote after the game that the reporters asked him, "Why did you decide to to defer in overtime?" And he said, "Did you see how Justin Tucker was kicking the ball in kickoffs? He was kicking it to the 3-yard line, and we could not get past the 15. So that was the reason that he decided to put the defense out on the field." And I just thought, I'm like, man, that is awesome.
Respect to your kicker.
Yeah, respect. So, I mean, I think the special teams was probably, if not the main reason, definitely a huge reason that we won that game. So shout out to the special teams, man. I know we were afraid that maybe it would struggle after we lost Jerry Rosberg, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think we were expecting it to struggle, but it's been playing awesome. It's been amazing. So shout out to the special teams coaches, man. And I mean, you expect it because John Harbaugh's a special teams guy. So, but I mean, shout out to Justin Tucker. He is just a god, man. I mean, what more can you say about him? That was a phenomenal
impressive.
Performance. Yeah,
dude is impressive. The other thing I will say, based on what you're saying, it also goes the other way. If a team is basically playing us, everybody in the box, right? That's what the Dolphins came on week one. Week one, they said, like, we're going to put everybody in the box. The reason Hollywood was running all over Minkah Fitzpatrick, Minkah was playing him tight in the line. Nobody can keep up with him. They were playing everybody in the box. Lamar was able to just torch him on the pass. Both things they're right. If they're willing to put everybody in the box and you need to throw it a lot because it's working, fuck it, you do it. My point is, we need to stop forcing the 50-50, right? The balanced offense. You go with whatever's working. And against Cleveland, the running game was working.
Yeah.
And we stopped.
I feel like after the Ingram fumble, that's when we just stopped running it after that.
Yes. Look, that play is perfect. I'm glad that you brought that up because that was after they just score. So we tied it, then they come down and they score, and then we're just like running through their throat. And which I said that was the momentum, that was the play that shifted the momentum, and then they score again, and we were down by 14. We were running, and the fumble happened like in the 25, but we were running down their throat, moving the ball through basically all run. Yeah. And we were getting success, and then we stopped because the fumble happened. So we need to go back to whatever's working. Running, passing. If in that day passing is working, then you don't need to run the ball. Fine. If running the running game is what is working, and you don't need to work on the pass, do it.
So the thing about Lamar last week is that I feel like his decision making wasn't that bad, if you remember that one play that Seth Roberts was pretty much wide open in the end zone, and then Lamar just kind of overthrew him a little bit. That was a great decision, right? It was just that I feel like since he was getting pressured so much all day, he just kind of, oh shit, he's open. Let me, and he just made a quick throw, and obviously it was inaccurate. I think it was like that because of the pressure, but we've seen, like against the Dolphins, when Lamar just didn't have any pressure, when he was just allowed to sit back there, he can make those throws. But of course, it all comes down to the offensive line protecting. And this week against the Bengals, they have a very good front four. They still have, their defense, for the most part, it's pretty bad. I'll give you that. But they still have at least two good players in the secondary, William Jackson and Jesse Bates. So I would expect them to put them on Hollywood Brown, try to shut him down completely with Jesse Bates and William Jackson. That's what I could see happening. So if that's the case, we need to get other guys involved. I know Hollywood has kind of been injured a little bit, and same thing with Mark Andrews. Maybe that's why they haven't really been doing that much. But also, defenses are starting to see that, hey, Mark Andrews and Hollywood Brown, they're pretty much the main guys that are getting the balls here for the Ravens, so we got to shut them down. So other guys need to step up, man, especially against this Bengals defense that's not very good. But the front four could absolutely destroy the front, our offensive line if Lamar's still has some bad pocket presence like he was showing last week. And I'm telling you, man, I don't know why we don't do more screens. Like, we just never see any. Like, it's frustrating, man. We need to take some of the heat off of Lamar, So
yeah, it keeps that D-line honest, right?
Yeah.
The Lamar itself keeps the D-line honest. We have seen multiple times that the rushers get to a point and they're afraid to go all the way because they're afraid that Lamar's gonna make them look like dumbasses, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like all they're catching is air. But now if you screen, that also brings another layer that it's gonna. But because what happens is if they get burned by 3 screens, now if for some reason the lineman gets beat, they're gonna think for a moment like, oh, did they get beat on? Because when you're screening, if you're a lineman and you're screening, what you want to do is block and almost let them see like they beat you. Right? Because at that point, they're just pushing, and now you have a clean release, and you want that quarterback to get pressure by design and throw it to the running back, or if it is a receiver or a tight end, whatever, whoever it is. And now you have blockers. Those guys that got beat are your blockers to that guy. So that's why it's important, the screen pass or the screen game, to keep that defense honest.
Yeah, I agree. I think we definitely need to incorporate that. But sorry, Asmodeus. Yeah, I don't think we're going to be doing phone lines tonight, unfortunately. But maybe next time. Maybe we'll figure something out next time. But yeah.
Yeah. So as I told some of you guys yesterday, I'm working on having a digital equalizer or mixer, so we can have, because the biggest problem also for the calls, you guys, is Nubo cannot hear you, and then it's just a big delay. In the near future, hopefully I can figure this out, and then me and Nubo can be on the line, and we can hear you, and we can have a conversation.
Yeah, that'd be awesome for sure. But anyway, so, let's talk about the Browns game, man. Why don't we have some positivity?
I was waiting for you to say that, but go ahead.
So, oh man, that was just so enjoyable, man. That was, I loved every second of that for sure. My God, that was such a great thing to watch for sure. That 49ers pass rush is just absolutely, oh my God, it is dangerous, man. And I am terrified when we have to face them, because we still have to face them now. So that pass rush, my God, but they were all over Baker. I think it was the whole defense. Nobody respected Baker. Everybody wanted to get his ass down on the ground. It was a great thing to watch. Baker, 8 for 22, I believe, 100 yards, 3 turnovers, just a terrible, horrible game. And it's funny because even I said it on Twitter, even Lamar's worst game was not as bad as Baker was on Monday. So, man, I don't know. I think I feel like for the Browns, it's that they have a big problem that they have so many mouths that they need to feed. That's the main problem for them on offense. I don't feel like they're scheming to win the game. I feel like they're more worried about, okay, we have to get OBJ involved. We have to get Jarvis Landry involved, Nick Chubb. Um, I know Njoku is hurt right now, and I know Kareem Hunt is supposed to come back still, but there's just so many mouths that the Browns offense has that it's like, what are you gonna do, man? You're having to have OBJ run with the ball, have him pass the ball just to get him some touches, man, and that's trouble for the Browns, I think. When they played us, that they had a really good game plan, I think, which is just we're just gonna hand the ball off to Chubb, and then when necessary, Baker will make throws, and that's how they should be performing on offense, but they're not. They're just okay. OBJ only had 2 receptions last week, so we got to get him involved. This could definitely be the downfall of the Browns. And every time I bring it up, the Browns fans always tell me, "Oh, look at our schedule after we face the Patriots." Okay, but what happens if you lose to the Seahawks and the Patriots? Do you think that you're gonna go 9-0 the rest of the season? That's very tough to do. I mean, you could drop them.
I don't know if they can beat the Steelers.
That's what I'm thinking, man, because they're just acting like the Steelers are complete trash, but the Steelers are pretty good, man. And I was talking about it. The Steelers remind me of our 5-11 team in 2015, that we had so many injuries, but we played every team tough. That's what I think the Steelers are this year. So they might mess around and beat the Browns. I mean, the Steelers have owned the Browns for a long time, so I wouldn't call those 2 games an easy win. The Steelers, they still have to face the Bills. They still have to go to Denver. And I know Denver isn't like a great team, but they beat the Chargers. And my boy Joe Flacco's over there, and he loves to beat some brownies. So I'm just saying, man, like I could very well see this Browns team going like 8-8. And honestly, that should be a big improvement for them, and they should be happy with that. But, they had their expectations way up here, and, we're seeing what happens with that.
So, one of the reasons, I agree with everything you're saying. I love the outcome. I love the game. It's funny because for those Brownie fans that talk all that crap, Baker Mayfield currently has 4 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. 55.9 completion percentage. And now, if we flip it to Lamar has 11 touchdowns, 5 interceptions.
Right.
65.4 completion percentage. And if you want to talk yardage, they're almost identical. This is only passing. 1247 for Baker, 1271. So Lamar's a little ahead, but almost identical. So I will call that a watch.
And that's not even counting the rushing yards, right?
Yeah, no, this is not, or the rushing touchdowns. It's literally just passing. So, yeah, our running back, as they like to call it, looks like it's performing way better than Baker is putting backup QB numbers right now. And if they say because they're tough teams that he's playing, well, that means that Baker cannot play against tough teams. That's what they're telling me. Baker's good against bad teams or bad defenses. As soon as you hit a good defense, he can play.
Yeah.
That's kind of sad. Okay, so second, the reason that I say they're going to struggle against the Steelers is you saw what the Steelers did to the Bengals, right? The reason the Steelers did that to the Bengals was because the Steelers were able to create pressure with 4 guys. They tried to do that against us, and they weren't completely successful. They had some success, but not like with the Bengals. 4 guys were getting home. What happened against San Francisco? 4 guys. 4 guys on that line were getting home. The Steelers have a comparable line like San Francisco. The Steelers were able to produce 8 sacks against Cincinnati. I'm sure they can produce around 8 sacks against the Clowns. Because Baker right now is overthinking the throws. He's basically reading his first and second and then panicking. If you're able to rush with 4 guys, now you can drop 7. That's when the interceptions happen. That's what the missed or bad throws. That's what the low completion percentage. Again, I don't know if they can beat the Steelers team. If they can beat them, it's because the defense is bowling out against the Steelers offense.
Right.
Second, as you said it, like they were making sure OBJ ate.
Mm-hmm.
Let's use him as a running back. Let's use him as a jet sweep. Let's use him as he throwing the ball. Let's use him on a bubble screen. Let's make sure we throw the ball constantly on OBJ. It almost looked like OBJ went to the meeting, right? The offensive meeting, and said like, "Okay,
Give
my
me the ball."
dudes,
Yeah.
I went 2 for 20. Worst game
Yeah.
of my life. That shit ain't happening again. I need
Right.
to be fed if you want me
Yep.
happy here." Didn't say it in the media. I don't want to create a controversy. I'm getting it here.
Yeah.
Feed me the ball. And almost looked like, because Chubb was actually running decently. And but they weren't doing the run with Chubbs. They should have
Right.
just fed Chubb and let the defense, collapse in the middle and then play action to then whoever receiver is open. If it's not OBJ, whoever's the open receiver. But that's not what they did. And they got in trouble very quick.
Yep. Definitely. So before we move on, guys, make sure you hit that like on the video. Of course, thank you guys for being in the chat. Subscribe to Sunny if you're not already. So Don DiMello says, is it time to say that the Cleveland Clowns have a curse at the quarterback position? I just think they have a curse in general, man. I don't think it's only the quarterback position, because Baker had a really good rookie season, but I was watching I think the channel name is Strong Opinion Sports or something like that. He was talking about Baker, and he basically said that everywhere you look, you see this guy in commercials. Everywhere you look, And it's like, and he was saying, because I guess he used to do commercials and stuff, he says that they usually take at least a day to film. So imagine how many commercials you've seen of Baker. So that's one less day for him to either work out or, work on passing, work on the communication and all, and the playbook and all that. So I'm afraid that Baker kind of, it's all good, get your money and everything, you got to do what you got to do. But it feels like Baker just thought, okay, I'm already the shit. I'm the man. I'm going to come out, light the world on fire next season. I have OBJ. I have all these weapons. We're gonna totally ball out. And he didn't put in the work. Someone that did put in the work, though, is Lamar, and we've seen that he still isn't, as polished as you would like him to see. But we forget that he's still only 22, and I think his best years are still ahead of him. But I mean, just the difference from one year to the next, you see it in Lamar, and then now you're seeing a little bit of a regression from Baker, and I think that it had a lot to do, and I'm not trying to talk shit about his commercials and everything, but I'm just saying that that's one less day that you have to work over the offseason, and I think that was a very good point that guy made. So
yeah, I think also on Baker, I'm not. So I see people saying that he's a bum or whatever.
No,
I don't think Baker's there. I think the biggest problem the Rams have is not the Rams, the Clowns, is you got all these personalities, a lot of good players. They do have talent, right? So they get all these players, all the talent, and now how can we keep them all happy? Well, now you have a first-year coach that doesn't want to screw it up. You still have a very young quarterback, almost a rookie, that is trying to appease everybody, right? Right now, the best play looks to be, because that O-line is so bad, to run the ball. But what happens if you run the ball too much? Chubb doesn't have an ego. He's a second-year running back. But Baker does. OBJ does, Landry does, so they're gonna get pissy. So what we do, we're gonna make sure we feed them. And I know, and some of you guys put it there that Colin Cowherd said that they should trade OBJ. Yeah. I'm actually not disagreeing with that. If you can find a good lineman for OBJ, that makes a lot of sense, because that's their problem. They haven't, even if OBJ is not there, I think they have enough weapons. But that O-line is bad. Doesn't matter. You can have Julio Jones, OBJ out there, and the guy from Houston, Hopkins. All three out there. If your O-line is trash and penetration gets to it, you can't throw. Right. Especially Baker, that is barely 6 feet. I mean, you saw what Sherman said. Sherman said, we knew that Baker was not going to be able to see over the Forest and Armstead, I think is the other guy's name. Yeah. Because he's not that tall. So imagine that plus bringing pressure is a recipe for success for the other team. So I think there's some truth to that. I think the best thing that they can do is put if I mean it's not easy if they can put Eagles aside and just play their game, but that's not gonna happen.
Yeah, it's a big problem for them, man. And I could definitely see them losing to the Seahawks. But hold on, before I go on that, what's up, Coach? What's up, Sip2 Tally Films? You guys make sure you subscribe to him if you're not already. But yes, I did shave, Coach. If this is your first time seeing, anyway. But yeah, so the Browns. Let's actually bring up their schedule. Might as well. I mean, they do have the Seahawks up next. I know that for sure. And then they have the Patriots. The Browns are going to be coming off of a bye when they face the Patriots, but honestly, I don't think they're good enough to beat the Patriots, whether they have a whole offseason to prepare. I just don't see it happening. I think Bill Belichick is just too good for that.
You think they win this week?
Against the Seahawks, I actually think that it's possible. I know a lot of people think that the Seahawks are like a top NFC team, which I think they are, but I could actually see the Browns pulling that one out, and I hope they don't. Obviously, I want the Seahawks to win, but that's one of the games that I'm not entirely sure about. If they come out and just look like crap, the Browns, then I mean, you guys just what are you gonna do? But then the Patriots game, like we said, they do have a bye coming off of that. So, but still, I think the Patriots are just going to be too good. I don't think the Browns are going to be good enough to handle that. And then, like we said, they have the Broncos, but I don't think that's going to be an easy game. As bad as their record is, they still, going to Denver is still a very tough place to play. I don't care who you are. And then the Bills are going to be going to Cleveland, and the Bills have a very, very stout defense. So even that is not a guaranteed win, I don't think. And then you have the Steelers going to Cleveland. Let's just say they win that one, so that would put them at maybe 3-5, or actually 3-7 at that point, right? Well, I don't know. I'm not doing the record, but then the Dolphins. I mean, easy win there. Then they have to go to Pittsburgh. I think they could very well drop that one. I think they could lose that one. The Bengals, easy win for them. We'll say the Cardinals, it's a little... I think they could win that game. And then us, I think we should beat them, but I don't know. We'll have to see because it's in Cleveland. We'll see how we're playing at that point. And then they have the Bengals to round out their schedule. So I know they're saying that it's a very easy schedule after the Patriots, but honestly, it's not that easy. It's not that easy.
Look, yeah. I actually think they should win this week because Seattle is an average road team in this cross country. Mm-hmm. Let's be honest, Seattle barely beat the Steelers after Big Ben blew his elbow in the first quarter.
Right.
And you guys might say, yeah, we also barely beat them, but they actually had a game plan for Rudolph. Meaning, Seattle, when Rudolph was put into there, he had no practice with the first team receivers. He had nothing, right? So he was just thrown there, and they beat them by 2. So I think I will give this game to the Clowns, but I agree with you with the Patriots. That's an L. I actually think the game in the Broncos at Denver is an L. It's not easy to play in Denver. The Bills game, I will be surprised. That D-line for the Bills is good, and that's where the Cleveland struggles. So I would say that could be an L. And you know already how I feel about the Steelers. So I think that their easy wins are 1, 2, 3, 4. So they have 4 W's, in my opinion, for sure, out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you have 4 easy W's and 7 games that are toss-ups, at worst toss-ups. So, yeah, I don't see that cakewalk.
Right. Yeah, we'll just have to see, man. But for the Ravens, I could actually, honestly, I could see 9-7 being good enough to win this division. I think so because before the season, we were talking about how we thought, the AFC North was going to be one of the best divisions in the league. Obviously, it's not looking like that. All of the teams have their issues. Clearly, we know the Ravens' issues. We're very familiar with them. The Browns clearly have issues as well. The Steelers, I mean, they have all those injuries. Big Ben isn't playing. But they're a very tough team for sure. And the Bengals, I mean, they're a dumpster fire, to be honest. But that doesn't mean we should take them lightly. We cannot just overlook the Bengals. So let's transition into the Bengals game. Is there any questions you saw in the chat that you wanted to talk about?
No. To be honest,
Okay.
the chat is going fast and furious, and
Okay.
I haven't been paying the most attention to the chat.
Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, let's talk about this Bengals game, man. We cannot take them lightly. I know they're 0-5. They're coming in here 0-5, and we're 3-2. We should be favored to win this game, as I'm sure we are. We should win this game. Um, it's in Baltimore, which if you guys are coming here late, I'm gonna be at, which I'm super hype about. I'm hoping we can get a dub. But yeah, the Bengals, they actually have some good talent. They don't have, obviously their offensive line is trash, but on offense, I mean, if you give Andy Dalton time, he can pick us apart for sure. And that's really what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid that the pass rush, I thought that our pass rush was going to have a really good game against the Browns because we know how bad their O-line is, but we just were not getting pressure on Baker really at all. So I'm afraid that we're not going to be able to get pressure on Andy Dalton, and he's going to just sit back in the pocket, have time to throw, make his reads, and we cannot allow that to happen because what I'm not sure about is who we're going to be sticking Marlon Humphrey on. I'm thinking maybe Tyler Boyd, but I don't know because what we've been doing with Humphrey is we've been having him shadow their number one receiver, which I love. I think that's awesome. We should keep doing that. But if you look at the Bengals, they don't have AJ Green. They don't have John Ross. So their next best receiver, in my opinion, is Tyler Boyd. But the problem is he's a slot receiver, so I'm not sure what they're going to do with that because aside from that, you have an Auden Tate and Damian Willis. So, I mean, we're familiar with them, but they're not really big household names. So, I don't know. I think we might stick Hump on Tyler Boyd. And then the tight ends, we got to watch out for the tight ends because Tyler Eifert is actually healthy for some reason. And then CJ Uzoma is actually pretty decent as well. So their tight ends could have a big game. We didn't talk about it yet, but I think that the linebackers are starting. It seems like we're starting to get some synergy a little bit. I liked what I saw from Josh Bynes, even though, I mean, if you think about it, he just came into the team like last week, right? And he came out and actually played pretty decently. I liked what I saw
Oh,
from Josh
surprise!
Bynes. Yeah, so I think the defense definitely played a lot better last week. We still didn't play to the level that I would like to see us, but we definitely looked a lot better. I mean, you can't get much worse than allowing 500 plus yards in two games back to back. So
Yeah.
the defense, I'm not sure if it was just a matter of playing the Steelers. You know, they had Hodges and then Rudolph and all those factors. I'm not sure if that was why the defense looked a lot better than it might be. But I think they might be starting to get some synergy. And it just sucks that Tony Jefferson went out. By the way, we haven't talked about that yet.
Yeah.
Hopefully he can come back strong. I mean, I know people were hating on Tony Jefferson because he hasn't had the best year. You know, he was a liability for a lot of the games. But you don't want to see a guy get injured, man. I don't care how much you hate him. And it's a shitty situation for sure. However, I think that we are going to be seeing a lot of Chuck Clark and Deshaun Elliott, which I'm happy about. I am excited to see how they play because I think we need to see what we got, man. We need to see what we got. Do we need a strong safety in the upcoming draft or in free agency? Or do we just focus on middle linebacker? So I think we need to see what we got. I've heard a lot of talk about how Chuck Clark is, really good. So, I mean, we've seen flashes from him, so we'll see how he performs. But aside from that, the defense, like I said, we need to get pressure on Andy Dalton. We just cannot allow him to sit back in the pocket and make his reads. So, Joe Mixon, I don't expect him to have too big of a game. And we should be able to shut down their offense fairly well, provided we can get pressure on Andy Dalton.
Yeah, for me, I actually thought that Humphrey didn't have the best game working on Juju in the slot. I feel like Humphrey is not comfortable in the slot, so I think they might put him against Boyd in key situation, but not shadow him the whole game. If Boyd happens to go outside, he is gonna have Boyd, but when he gets in the slot, I think there will be somebody else. Now, what worries me is yes, Eifer obviously Boyd, but Eifer as well, and goes back to the interior, right? Atkins. How are we containing this bad boy? He's still a good player. Our left guard still trash. Bozeman was utterly horrible in last week's game. And I was hot. I mean, I was hot last game with Bozeman. I was like, anyway.
He still hasn't. He's not your favorite anymore, huh?
No, he's not. He is not. I don't know what's wrong with him. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but he should be benched.
I think Coach said it best, I believe, that this O-line is not built to pass block. It's built to run block, and we're starting to see that.
But I think Stanley's a good blocker. I think Yanda's a good blocker.
Yeah.
I think Zeus is a good blocker, although he has his issues against speedy rushers, but second-year guy, not bad. Yes, I know Bozeman's also a second-year guy. And if Bozeman was struggling like Zeus is struggling, when he struggles, I will be fine with that. Zeus struggles every now and then. And you know the type that he struggles. Speed guys that can just run around him. Bozeman struggles against a body in front of him. That's the problem. It's not a particular thing. He just struggles. Ascura, for me, looks like a god in center thanks to his shitty mate. So, I don't know. Look, Stanley, you saw the stat from PFF? I don't know if you saw that stat. Stanley is basically giving one pressure every 70 snaps.
That's great.
That's insane. So PFF move him to an elite status.
Awesome.
So Stanley is great. Obviously, Yanda, although he did struggle against the Steelers, is pretty darn good still. And Zeus is good enough. He has his moments, but he's still good enough. So it goes back to that interior. And let me say Skur is good enough too. It goes back to that left guard. And Atkins worries me. Because the problem is... you get Atkins with penetration. Now Lamar has to rush the ball. Now Lamar starts seeing ghosts. And now you're going to get the turnovers and all that.
Right.
So that's my biggest worry. Also containment on the outside. Mixon, if Mixon starts running on the outside, or Gio Bernard, right?
Yeah.
And then Gio Bernard scares me too because Gio Bernard is a weapon on the passing game. So how are we gonna contain him? Last week, what we did, which I love, a lot of those screen passes, there was already a linebacker or a nickel corner, talking about Levine. Or I think Clark wasn't one of them. There was, as soon as they caught the ball, ready to tackle him. That game plan, we need to do it again, for sure. We need to do it again. So those are my biggest worries on the Bengals side. No AJ Green as far as I know, so that's good. No Ross, which he started good. I know we think he's a bust, but he actually had a good season at the beginning of the year. But he's not gonna be active for this game. So it's just
he's
Boyd.
on IR. So.
Yeah, he's on IR. So it's just Boyd and a bunch of guys.
Yep.
So we should win this game, but we cannot take them lightly. They always play us hard.
They do. So, I mean, AFC North games, man, I don't care what the records are. It's going to be a tough game. So I'm not overlooking these Bengals. I do think we should win this game. Like you said, I think we do have the better team overall. I think we have the better coach for sure. But I thought that about Freddie Kitchens and John Harbaugh, and look how that turned out. So I don't know. I think this is a blowout. I hope so. That would be awesome, but I don't know. It's questionable, man.
After last week's game and the week before that, where I had lost some years out of my life, I need a blowout. I need a big win from the Ravens and just watch this game chill, right? Just chilling.
Yeah, right. No, I think it's going to be very close, but yeah, like I'm definitely afraid of that front four for sure. Not so much their linebackers. Their linebackers are they're not really that good.
Run. This is a game that you just pound the ball, pound the ball.
They have the 31st ranked rushing defense. So if we're gonna rush for 300 yards, this is the game to do it. We just need to pound the ball, man. Seriously, we really do. Um, Screw the balanced offense. I don't care about a balanced offense. Seriously, like you said, Sonny, screw all that. Just run the football, man. If it works, keep at it.
Exactly. At the
But
end of the day, all we want is a dub. And
yeah,
again, I
exactly.
understand Lamar wants to pass a little bit more, and I get it. But if you run the ball a lot, everybody's going to collapse, and then you get the easy passes.
Yeah, that's true.
So this is a game that I'm expecting not a lot from our receivers, a lot for Ingram. If you have fantasy, we haven't talked about fantasy. If you have
Oh yeah,
Ingram or the running backs in fantasy, they should have a good game. Lamar still should have a good game. Lamar's averaging very good numbers in fantasy because of the rushing side.
right. Tight ends. Hopefully, Mark Andrews can have a good game, but he has been banged up, so I don't know. But Hayden Hurst, it seems like he's finally starting to get a little more
He looked
involved.
good.
We saw
Yeah.
him.
Snead.
Yeah,
Snead had his
Snead,
moment.
Snead did too. I would like to see them get more involved, though, for sure. I'm hoping Hurst is starting to get his stride, but we'll have to see because this is a game that we should just focus on the tight ends, the running backs, and maybe Boykin could have a big game because they have. I mean, other than William Jackson and Jesse Bates, they really don't have a good secondary, if we're being honest. So I don't know, man. We just need to play good football, man. This should not be a stressful game, but I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be a lot closer than people might think. I see a lot of people talking about, oh, we're going to blow their asses out. And no, I don't think so, man. I really don't think so. It would be nice, but I don't think so. But yeah, Tyler Boyd. I mean, all us Ravens fans, we're never going to forget this man's name. Screw Tyler Boyd. Screw that guy. But yeah, man, I think we can win this game. We should be able to win this game pretty handily, but of course it's the Ravens. They love to give us heart attacks. You just never know, man. We'll have to see.
That's the specialty.
Yeah.
That is the specialty. Okay. So as we are more on the downside of the stream, yeah. I want to say that in the league, in the fantasy league.
Oh God.
In the fantasy league, I played one Mr. Joe Nubo. And Joe Nubo was doing okay.
Man.
He was 3-1.
Yeah.
I was 2-2 coming to this game, and he took the L.
Yep. Real unfortunate, man.
So I know some of you guys. I see Arel's here. He's 4-1. I don't know who Lord Raven is. The hoster, somebody, that person, even or in the live stream said that they were first. So there are 3 4-1s, and then actually me, Coach, me and Nubo are the only 3-2, and then Coach, which was in the chat, he's 2-3 behind Joe Nubo. Let me see how the league on your league.
In my league, yeah. I think I won in my league, but yeah, I lost to you, which sucks. But man, dude, what am I supposed to do? Mike Evans had 0 points. I'm sure a lot of you guys play fantasy and have Mike Evans, maybe. He didn't do shit, man. What's up with that? I can't have that. Mike Evans is my start every week, and he's over here putting up 0 points. That's just it's not cool, man. I thought I actually had a chance because Teddy Bridgewater had a good game. I'm like, okay, I see you, Teddy. And then Kamara, did his thing like he always does. Mm-hmm. Carson had a big game. Marlon Mack had a good game. Buffalo defense. But, I mean, you had the Eagles defense who put up 35 points. Woo! What am I supposed to do with that? It's a little hard. But, yeah, the Mike Evans totally disappointed me, man. And then for some reason, I put Golden Tate in there, and I thought he was going to do something, but obviously he did not. That was frustrating, but...
In your league, I don't know who John is. Yeah. I don't know who John is.
Oh, that's from Raven Central. I think he's on Twitter.
Okay, so he's first, 4-1, and then... There are 5 of us at 3-2. That's Tron, Alex, Keyshawn, King of Demise, and then me, and then Mr. Joe Nubo. I'm at
2-3. Yeah.
At 7th place tie with 4 others, but he has a tiebreaker.
But I'm on top of the shit mountain, man. So
Andy, I saw Andy around the chat. He is last with 1-4.
Oof. Oh yeah.
And
Yeah, he was saying that he didn't draft well. So, but yeah, man, it's been a up and down season for fantasy. Hopefully my team can turn it around, but
Still early.
yeah, it's still early. We'll see. But yeah, guys, I mean, we need to. I think we need to win this game. I know it's not technically a must-win game, but it's a division game, and if we can have two wins in the division, that would be huge. Especially going because after this Bengals game, we face
Seahawks
the Seahawks. Yes, so
in
that's going to
Seattle.
be a very tough game because it's in Seattle. Um, and then of course we get our bye, and then the Patriots.
Yep.
So if we can come out of it, what are we 3-2? Say we beat the Bengals, and then we lose to the Seahawks. That would put us at 4-3, coming off the bye against the Patriots. It's a tough situation, but like I said, guys, I do think that 9-7 will be good enough to win the AFC North at this point. And I don't think the Browns are. I mean, they could turn it around, but their easy schedule, as they call it, is not so easy as they're saying. So I don't know.
For me,
We'll just have to see how it turns out.
For me, it's almost a must-win because if you want to say that you're a good team, you have to beat the bad teams. That's the first.
Oh,
The first thing to being a good team is beating the shitty teams. That's
yeah.
because let's be honest. People critique that we had 3 wins against shitty teams. If you go to New England, they have 5 wins, 4 of them against teams that I think have won a game. I might be misspeaking, but very bad records. But doesn't matter because that's what you do as a good team. You beat the shitty teams. And then also, you can only beat whoever's in your schedule. That's the second thing.
Exactly.
But you beat the shitty teams, and then if you lose against the good teams, then you're a middle of a pack team. And then when you start beating the good teams, now you become a great team.
Yep.
But to be just a middle of a pack to a good team, you have to beat the bad teams. Cincinnati is low, and we need to kick them as they're down.
Yeah, exactly. See, Cincinnati, man, they're at a point that I'm not sure if they're. I don't know if Zach Taylor wants to tank because maybe he does want a new quarterback, or maybe they'll put Ryan Finley out there. I actually thought Ryan Finley is not too bad. I'm surprised they haven't put him out there yet. But I mean, what are you going to do with that offensive line? You know, you're just going to put him out there to suffer, pretty much. But
that should be a confidence booster for the Ravens rusher.
It should be, right?
Let me throw a bold prediction here.
Okay.
Mr. Magnet, a.k.a. Sack Daddy Ferguson, gets his first either half a sack or sack.
I mean, I'd like to see it.
The Bengals.
I would like to see it for sure. But I'll do you one better. How about Judon has 2 sacks this week?
He should. He should.
He should have at least 1 sack for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, if we're being honest. But McPhee has actually exceeded my expectations so far this season.
Mine too, by a lot.
Yeah, so that's cool to see. I'm hoping this addition of Josh Bynes really, really kind of solidifies the defense because we saw Peanut move back to weak side and he had some good plays. I mean, he's still kind of quiet a little bit, but I think they're starting to get some synergy there. So. But I did see someone ask earlier, who do you think is going to get the green dot? And I think when Tony went down, it went to Peanut, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure if they're going to keep it on Peanut because it seems like they're going to keep him at weak side. And I don't know if they want to give it to Josh Bynes just yet because it's going to be only his second week coming in here. So someone else said maybe Earl Thomas. Maybe, I don't know, but it's also like he's still finding his way in this defense, so I'm not sure. And then someone else said Chuck Clark, but I don't know, man. It's there's a lot of question marks. Who's gonna get the green dot? I guess we'll find out.
I think Peanut's the de facto one for now. I think ET might be good after the bye, but doing it now, ET's learning this defense still, guys. So you go ahead and give it to ET, I think it will be a mistake. I think you give it to Peanut and say, like, dude, we need you to have this for now. Who knows? He might still be able to play weak side, just with the dot, just to make sure the everything gets relayed. But it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough because, but yeah, I think Peanut's the fact. I don't think you get too cute with this You go to
Right.
Peanut, and then after the buy, if you want to do somebody else, you do it at that moment. But if before that, no.
Y'all say what's up to my dog, Yanda. Can you guys see him?
Yeah, look at Yanda. Presence in the
He's chilling.
podcast.
He's chilling.
Not chewing any more computer cords.
Not right now. I've been keeping an eye on him. He knows. But anyways, guys, I think we pretty much covered everything, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So, all right, fellas. Well, I want to thank you all so much for joining again. Sorry that we couldn't have it on my channel. You guys know how it is, man. I mean, my internet just sucks. I don't know what to say. Honestly, it's just so bad. But yeah, guys, I'm excited to be in Baltimore for this week's game. I can't believe I'm going. It's crazy. I am planning on doing a vlog, so it might not be too long because I'm not really a guy that likes to film, like when I'm doing stuff, like even at concerts, I don't really film that much, or like at games, I'll film a little bit, but yeah, I'm not really that type. So I'll put out a vlog. It probably won't be that long, but maybe if Raven does end up going, we could do something together. But yeah, man, I mean, that's going to do it for the podcast. So again, thank you so much for watching. Thank you to Sonny for coming in clutch, having it on his channel, because we had to get the backup. Yeah, we had the hiccup for sure. So grab drinks. Oh man, I wish I could Asmodeus. We'll see, because I'm doing sober October, but this is gonna be a once in a lifetime thing. So I may make an exception. We'll see though.
So again, guys, we might, because I'm not gonna be here in Maryland until Sunday night. But I was telling Nubo maybe we can hit a local bar wherever he's staying nearby. We can hit a bar and chill there, watch Sunday night for a little bit, and then if we do that, we'll know by Sunday for sure. We'll throw it in the social media at what time, so we can meet some of you guys, and then we can be there.
Yep, for sure, man. So all right, guys. Well, once again, thank you all so much for joining. Make sure you hit the like on the video. Oh, also, I just uploaded the new episode of The Edge, like a couple hours ago. I wanted to put it up sooner, but it took like 3 hours to upload. So,
Oh,
but yeah,
man.
it's up there on my channel.
That
So
internet, man.
tell me about it. I need to do something about that. But anyways, guys, thank you all so much for joining, and we'll see you next week.
Peace out, guys.
Peace out.